What's up, Pagan people? Drew here, and happy Lughnasadh! So, as many of you will know, this year I am sharing all of my Sabbats here on my channel with anyone who's interested. I started at Yule, so I'll go through Samhain this year. And here we are at Lughnasadh. Now, I had a whole thing planned. It wasn't anything huge. I actually have more planned now, but there has been a major shift in my life that kind of threw my plans for Lughnasadh up in the air. The shift that has occurred is in my practical, everyday, mundane life, but it absolutely stems from spirit. All of my adult life, I have been able to compartmentalize what I would refer to as humanity's sickness. So over in this box, there was environmental issues, and over in this box was like humanitarian, socioeconomic issues, stuff of that nature. And in this box, there was animal cruelty, and so on and so on and so on. They were all in their own little boxes, and I could turn a blind eye to an extent. All that flew out the window 5 days ago. This past Saturday, I saw something that I don't know what happened, but there was this major shift within me, and all of these boxes locked in together. And I could no longer delude myself. And I was fully faced with humanity's sickness in its entirety. And it was a bad day. But I made some decisions for myself to move forward in a way that I could feel better about. So basically, I have switched over to a vegetarian diet, and I'm actually leaning a bit vegan. Now, I'm not going vegan. I don't think I ever will, just because I don't think I could ever give up honey or beeswax. But having said that, I am trying to cut more than just meat out of my diet. I'm still eating cheese, and I'm still consuming butter for now. And I don't know what's going to happen with that in the future, but for now that I'm doing that. I have cut eggs out. I have decided that I'm leaving myself the option of eating farm fresh local eggs, because I don't have any big farm here. I mean, we have big farm here for like tobacco and cotton, but right in my local area, we don't have like huge chicken farms or pig farms or anything like that. So the little farms that do set up their stands in the area, I know that their chickens are well loved and taken care of. So I'm leaving myself the option to get those kinds of eggs and use them, eat them, consume them, because, well, if nothing else, if I'm not getting the protein I need, that's where I'm going to go for it. But I've never been a huge fan of meat in the first place, at least not my entire adult life. I haven't been. So it's not hard at all. I actually feel wonderful. It's really liberating. I feel great about the decision I've made. I do want to stress that I do not think it's wrong to consume meat. I have also left myself the option of treating myself maybe once, twice a year with locally caught fresh seafood, because I live on the coast. But I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. We'll see. Seafood is my one downfall when it comes to meat. But I don't feel that I'm depriving myself or that I'm missing anything at all. I feel great about it. This is the decision that works for me. I'm not here to preach or to tell anybody else how to eat or what to do. I have my own feelings about the whole thing, but that's not what this is about in this video at all. So let me get back to the topic at hand. I was going to make bread. I was going to make 3 breads, a cornbread from a box, which I've made plenty of times, a braided white bread from scratch, and a sweet bread from scratch. And I have never made bread from scratch before. So the idea of trying to make a vegetarian or vegan bread from scratch for the first time making bread, I was already prepared to fail just making regular bread. So I decided to just not jump into that boat just yet. So I put a squash on that. So I'm not making the breads. So then what am I going to do for Lughnasadh? Well, any of you who follow my Facebook page know that I redress my altar on the 1st. Every once in a while something happens and it's the 2nd, but typically the 1st of the month. I like to change it every single month. And if there is a Sabbat coming, I dress it with sort of a mingling of the energy of the month and the Sabbat, which they usually go hand in hand anyway. Actually, they always go hand in hand. But at any rate, that is something I was going to be doing today anyway. So that would have been part of my Lughnasadh celebration regardless. So there's one thing. Okay, what else? Not so long ago, maybe a week or two ago, I was really inspired by Mandi See. I will try to remember to leave a link to her video that I'm talking about in the description. She did a video showing how she performs consecration. Now, this is something I've never done. I've read about it and it just didn't resonate. I've done what I would call a dedication with certain things, tools or what have you, but never consecrated them. And then watching her, something just clicked. And suddenly I had a whole consecration ritual geared solely to myself based on what she did. I'm a very visual person. So as many times as I've read about consecration, it just never, but seeing someone do it, I just was really moved by it. And of course I work with angels and the spirits of the land and the whole, so my consecration ritual is very tailored for me personally. But I will be performing that consecration ritual for the first time today. I had decided I would take the full moons when I didn't have other plans and go ahead and do some consecrations on those until I had consecrated everything I wanted to consecrate. But last year, I believe, it could have been the year before, but I think it was last year, I met up with friends for a witchy play date. We used to do that regularly. And it was in between, I believe, Midsummer and Lughnasadh, and we made besoms. And I already have 2 other besoms, but since getting this one, this cute little one that I made myself, which I made one of my other besoms too, but it's more just for show. This has become my cleansing besom. I use this in all my cleansing work or rituals where I require or want to use a besom. So I've decided that for me, it is a tool that I associate with Lughnasadh in the first place. I am going to consecrate this today. I'm kind of excited about it. Okay, so there's 2 things. What else? I just felt like I wanted to do more. And so I just sort of sat in a space and thought about, what is Lughnasadh? What is it to me, if nothing else? And of course, I mean, it's a harvest festival, so why don't I harvest? Of course, I could walk right out into my backyard and start harvesting herbs and, whatever, because I grow stuff, but I do that all the time. The whole season long, I'm harvesting in my yard. So that didn't really feel very special. So I decided I'm just going to go out into the wilderness and I'm just going to go foraging and find what I can find. I don't know what I'm going to find or where I'm going to go, but I'm just going to go and get some goodies. I'm going to harvest for the harvest festival. And lastly, I am still going to make some bread. I'm making some cornbread out of a box. It is vegetarian. So my husband hunted this down for me. I only got one because the substitutions for the egg, I'm going to go with, I have flaxseed, so I guess I could do that now. I just got flaxseed yesterday for something I was making for veggie burgers. But I was going to do a half a banana mashed. I don't know which one I'm going to do, but I'm going to substitute for eggs and we'll see what happens. The milk, we use almond milk now, but I just wonder how sweet it's gonna, I'm not a huge fan of cornbread in the first place. I want to make bread for the Lughnasadh. We do what we got to do. Okay, this video has kind of gotten off track, but I'm not usually so rambly at the beginning of my Sabbath videos. They're usually more activity oriented, but I'm getting to it. We're going right now. We're going to start. So without further ado, let's get to my celebration of Lughnasadh. Here is my altar as it is set up for July, and I will, of course, break it down, clean it up, and redress it. That will be on my She Who Walks Facebook page. As always, there is always a link in the description for my Facebook page if you want to check that out. It is also where I do most of my mini hauls, but I'm not going to show that here. I will just show you what it looks like when it's done. I wonder, can you see all the bees? I can't tell because the lighting, but so many bees. There are 2 things I want to harvest from my yard for Lughnasadh. So this little guy here is some kind of weed that grows all in my yard. My husband gets rid of the ones that are just out in the yard. This one happens to be with some of my plants, so it's spared. But to me, it looks very wheat-like. So I'm going to harvest it and put it on my altar. And here I'm going to harvest some of my smaller carrot blossoms because they're just so pretty and I want them on my altar as well. Here it is, all done. I got my little corn and natural rock quartz and just rocks all over. My smudge. This is my Green Man incense burner I made. It's one of my oracle cards that I've made. You know, the stuff that's always up here. Here's my totem crystal with the eagle in it. This is my ancestor altar with my candle and my offerings and my little things that belong with the ancestors. Here, this is my lovely pagan prayer beads that are designed for working with the ancestors that were made for me by Erica from Raw Spirit. Here's my offering. Got some rice and some flowers from the yard and some citrus and my little magic chalk that looks like the moon. Petrified wood and this little corn dolly. I love her. She was made by my lovely friend Vicky at Lily Pad. Face, if you've watched my channel, you know about him, and my incense. And here's the flowers that are already drooping, the carrot blossoms, and that wheat looking stuff, and some more rocks. I wanted it to have a more natural, earthy feel. So the crystals and minerals I put on are more your average everyday rock quartz that you can find walking in the mountains, or just rocks that you'll find anywhere for the most part. I forgot to put my wand back on my altar when I redressed it, so I wanted to show you real quick. I'm getting ready to set up for the consecration ritual. I haven't decided if I'm taking you for that journey or not. We'll see. I'm gonna record it, but if it's boring, then I won't add it in. Whatever. Anyway, here we go. I'm gonna burn some, I don't know where the camera is on here. Okay. Some amber, hopefully this focuses. I'm gonna burn some amber sandalwood incense. Light my ancestor candle. I will be calling on the ancestors in this working. I have yet to cast circle. You won't really get to see that part, but right after I set up and smudge, I will cast circle and then begin the ritual. My altar faces north, so makes it very easy when doing this sort of thing. My earth representation is a mixture of earth from my mother's grave and homestead dirt, earth from our yard, our property. Of course, for me, air could be nothing but feathers, and I just wanted one of each of the little ones that I have. My representation for fire is ashes from my cauldron. So ashes from prior workings, to me, they are very sacred in my practice. And for water, I have snow water. I of course collect storm water, but for me, snow water is a bit more sacred because where I live, we don't necessarily get snow every year. We can actually go for several years without having any snow. There'll be some further inland, but not here on the coast where I live all the time. I want to lay this up here, so I'm going to adjust this a bit. Now I'll smudge my altar, the tools, and myself, and then I'll cast circle and begin my consecration ritual. Guardians of the watchtower of the north, element of earth, Archangel Raphael, spirits of foundation, stability, and material. I consecrate this besom and charge this besom with your energies. I purify this besom and make this besom sacred to be used for the highest good and harm none. I dedicate this besom to Great Spirit. May my besom serve me as I serve Great Spirit. As above, so below. I will it, and so shall it be. Guardians of the watchtower of the east, element of air, Archangel Gabriel, spirits of intellect, communication, and movement. I consecrate this besom and charge the watchtower of the south, element of fire, Archangel Michael, spirits of passion, transmutation, and purification. I consecrate this besom and charge this watchtower of the west, element of water, Archangel Uriel, spirits of emotion, intuition, and occult wisdom. I consecrate this besom and charge this besom with your... I don't know if you can see that it's raining, but it is. It's half beautiful and half not so much. It's just before 2:30. My husband is hurrying home so we can go foraging, and now I just don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully it'll clear up and I can go out. All right, guys. Well, unfortunately, my plans got a little discombobulated because it's almost 8 o'clock and it's still raining. It rained all day from 2:30 on. So I did not get to go foraging and try to harvest anything other than from my yard earlier. But I did make vegetarian cornbread, and I've put honey on it, and it's really good. Even though I don't really like cornbread that much, it's really good. I did have to finagle the recipe a bit. What they had on the box it was like Play-Doh until I just kept adding almond milk in until, and we use vanilla almond milk, which might be why I like it so much, because maybe it's a bit sweeter than normal. Anyway, my plans did not quite work out the way I had anticipated or hoped, but all of my green babies got a lovely drink straight from the source, and they always do better when it rains, so I can't really complain about that. I hope all of you had a blessed Lughnasadh, because by the time I upload this, of course, it'll be the day after. And as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, much love and gratitude.